Thank you, everybody, for listening into this podcast. And today we're going to dive into a conversation with a business that I just learned about. And I learned about Rainier before I learned about the business, and we just connected so well. But he works for Affinity24. He is the Vice President of Business Development. And I am excited to have him here so that we can realize as business owners, there are other options for us when it comes to that one thing we all have to do, which is process our payments. So anyway, thank you so much, Rainier, for being on here today. I'm excited to just have this conversation with you and talk more about it because we have so many common things that we don't
Yes.
even realize.
Oh yeah. And I'm honored to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Hannah. It's a pleasure to work with you and to serve your audience and to add any value that I possibly can. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let's just kind of jump in because when we first talked, I was well, we were talking about other businesses, but I was really didn't even know that I had options when it came to processing payment. We
Mhm.
talked about my clients where we do a lot of bank transfers because I don't love paying fees. I don't know how that works, but just kind of educate us a
Shocking.
little bit.
Shocking.
I know, right? We have options. We live in America. But tell me, like, what makes Affinity 24 different, and kind of like what are you seeing as some trends for business owners that we could be
Yeah,
aware of and just be more educated in?
absolutely. Uh, it's such a broad answer, but if I could distill it down to just the truth, it's the heart and the soul behind the company. There are so many options you can choose from, and when you start a business for the first time, most people go for the easy button, and they just go with what they see around them, and that might be a Square or a Stripe or a Shopify or you name it. There's so many great companies out there that are doing good work, and I'm not here to speak negatively of our competition, but I am here to say that what makes us unique is that this is a family owned and operated business, three generations, if you can believe it. Our founder, Garrett Logan, started this company with his mom. And he went on to build an amazing award-winning company with his mom, and we have awards all over our office, from our lobby and into the hallway. And then he went on to have three amazing sons, and I get to work in the office with the two younger ones, Chris Logan and Matthew Logan. And what they bring to the table and to this industry is a care and a concern for the client that I would say that they're not going to get at Square, at Stripe, at some of these other companies that, frankly, you're just a number in the ocean of people that they work with. So right off the bat, it's our customer service, but then it's also our values. We are a Christian owned and operated company. You can go to our about page and see like 6 or 7 Bible verses. We're proud about our faith. Our CEO just recently had us create an insert with part of his testimony, and on the backside is the gospel message. So, hey, we win some, we lose some, but at the end of the day, we want the people that we work with to know who we are, what we're about, and what is at the core, what is at the roots of why we serve our clients the way that we do.
Absolutely. And I think it's so cool because there's the business side. We don't have to be these huge businesses. Like when we have problems as business owners, we want to be treated with the same service that we give our clients, which is care and attention and, attention to detail of what the problem is. And so I think with y'all's team, I mean, as we've just gone through this process, it's been wonderful because I don't feel like I'm a number. Like I'm not number 4022, and I don't know who I'm talking to next. And if you hang up on me, I
Yes.
can't call you back.
Yes, exactly. And we all hate that. I mean, don't you hate calling any company of any industry and ending up in a call center offshore,
Hmm.
and you just, no matter how much they try to make you feel like they care, there's something about proximity, and there's also something about consistency and being able to call into our office and speak to one of the same 6 or 7 team members, get to know us by name, get to know our backstory. We laugh, we joke, we cry with you sometimes, and we're there to help you through whatever you're facing. And we have vendors, we have merchants that come in to our office all the time, unannounced, with their terminal in hand, like, help me, like, you know, and it's not breathing. I'm just kidding, but it's, like basically they're here to come and they're asking us to help them with their situation, and we can, drop what we're doing and do our best to serve our clients with that hands-on, real-time, same-day support, and we love that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, given the climate right now of a lot of people are um, well, the larger companies, the competition, there's a lot going on with all of them. And so what are some things that you see business owners, and I can say small business owners because sometimes that just means you may have a small team, but your revenue is not small. Like, but what are you seeing
Yeah.
as things that you guys really stand out for when maybe even working with banks, because sometimes it's a
Yeah.
personal bank that you have,
Yeah.
or it's a small bank. I bank at a small institution intentionally, but sometimes there's challenges there. So do you have any like examples or stories of kind of how you guys have guided some of your clients through those
Yes.
processes? Because we're not experts
Yes.
when it comes to the payment side.
Well, you nailed you just nailed that nail on the head with your comment earlier about just feeling like you're a number, right? I mean, some of these larger companies again, they're doing some things really great. And again, you got to give kudos where it's due.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but with that said, one of the things that they just can't do really great is the sheer volume and the size of the people that they're working with.
Hmm.
They cannot treat everyone with the same care as we try to. And so one of the challenges that we face, for example, is people coming to us from the other larger box companies and just like you said, feeling like a number. They just don't feel like there's any legitimate desire to solve their problem, to find the real need or solution to their specific business scenario. And so we try to pride ourselves on a custom tailored approach. So instead of me being like a Square rep, a Stripe rep, a Toast rep, of a specific POS company or a specific platform. We are direct with the credit card companies and we're direct with four major payment processors from Elavon, TSYS, Fiserv, and more. And between these relationships, we have a broad spectrum of platforms and features within those platforms to offer. So what we do is instead of just having a super clean UI UX experience on our website where you do everything yourself and try and pick a POS device that looks really cool or cute, we try to get on the phone with you and do a business needs assessment and find out, okay, who are you? What's your story? Where are you? What are you selling? What are some of the challenges that you're facing? What are the needs that you want to see filled? Do you use QuickBooks? Do you need to integrate with QuickBooks in a specific way? Do you not use QuickBooks? Do you need a terminal? Do you not need a terminal? All these things that play into how a business is running day after day, we try to solve the needs of those clients in a personal way, and then prescribe to them in an agnostic, objective format the software platform or the hardware platform that's going to really serve their needs. So it's not just about us getting a quota of POS devices sold or getting or moving these devices. It's about finding out what you need as a business and how do we solve your needs, make you happy, so we can become a win-win situation. As you win, we get to win with you.
I love that. And honestly, that's, building automations is what we do. And so
Yeah.
when we started talking through it, I'm going, oh, okay. Or like, is he going to tell me it has to be this one thing? And can we, the back end piece is going through my head of can we make this smooth and seamless and transparent? And the more we talked, the builds that I'm doing, it was amazing to be like, oh, we don't have just one option of integration.
Yeah.
We have multiple points of integration that when we're building this out, it really kind of becomes a custom solution
Yes.
for the end
Yes.
user, which I
Yes.
loved because that's what I build. But with you, it was amazing because when I work with other POS providers, it's we only do this one. And there's a lot of other things that have to happen in running
Yeah.
a business that you have to work around. And it's really hard when, we want to serve the business owners. And you guys were so much about service, about okay, what do you do? How are we doing that? Let's do it this way. We think this would probably be best for you with given your scenario of, whether you're online or whether you're offline or,
Exactly.
where are you, whether you're, transient, service based,
Yeah. Are you
around.
mobile? Do you need a little device at a farmer's market you at? Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was wonderful. So I think that was something that I didn't have that experience in other places. It was here's our thing. I remember one company I signed up with, to be named to nameless, but I signed up and I am all online, as you know. And I got sent all this equipment. I was like, can I opt out of this? Like, I don't want these. Like, this is not
Yeah.
relative to my
Yeah.
business. And
Absolutely. And before you know it, you're getting these devices and then you're reading the fine print of your contract and you've been roped into a 5-year lease, that you can't get out of. And then there's a predatory cancellation fee and we've seen it. We've seen some pretty ridiculous situations and some industries have get a bad rep, unfortunately. There's bad actors out there
right.
that will do whatever it takes to make a dollar and lock in that dollar for as long as they can. And so we have to, that's one of our challenges. We have to overcome that bad taste that sometimes people have from a previous experience and say, no, we're not those people. You know, we do not have a predatory contract. We do not have cancellation fees. You know, if we do loan out a device or if we do send you a device, and then all we're trying to do is essentially make good on the cost of that device. We're just trying not to lose money, right? We're all in
Sure.
business to
Oh,
make
of course.
money, right?
Of course.
Absolutely. But aside from that, we're here to serve because the average turnaround in our industry is somewhere from 2 to 3 years that you're with a POS company before you move on. With
Wow.
us, the average turnaround is closer to 5 to 7, and we have some
Wow.
clients who have been with our company for over 20. And so we chalk that up to the care and the concern and the family touch.
Absolutely. So let's talk about who does Affinity 24 love to work with? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, there's so many businesses out there, but
Yeah.
what type of businesses do you guys just say, like, we're the glove, you're the hand, and now we get to work together?
100%. So, yeah, that's a great question because as a catch-all, we can work with almost anyone,
Sure.
small and large, and we even have some enterprise, solutions as well. But with that said, I would say the sweet spot would be someone who beyond just needing payment processing also shares some of our values, right? That also shares some of our backstory, and that is, maybe you are a company that's trying to take off and other businesses won't give you the time of the day because your volume's too small. And we'll do our best to work with you and help you get on your feet and work through a situation that serves both parties, right? Another scenario might be you're a contractor, you're a plumber, you're an electrician, you're a garage door installer, you have a specialty, and you need a platform that also fits within your specialty. It has flexibility, it has multiple features that like to your point that you can turn on or turn off, or it has hardware that you can use or not use,
Mhm.
and so there's a lot of ways that we meet the needs of various business owners, depending on their situation. And then, some of our sweet spots are we do really great with quick serve restaurants. We have a number of coffee shops, multi-location coffee shops, even a couple franchises that we're serving as well. So, corporate for these franchises has seen value in the way that we've serviced their people, and they've continued to expand our company name within their ecosystem to say, hey, if you have questions about the hardware, the platform, the rewards program, loyalty points, go speak to this team member over here at Affinity24. They're going to take care of you. And we recently saw a corporate email come down from one of our larger franchise relationships, and that was just, man, that just warmed our hearts to know that they trusted us that much. That it was just a blast to all of the hundreds, or I can't remember how many locations they have, but hundreds of locations all across the nation, saying, we trust this company and we trust this individual at this company. So we work with a lot of people. Our sweet spot is going to be people who share our values, people who want to serve their customers, people who need options, and also people who, I'm sure you get this all the time, but when people realize that there is value to the premium of the service and the product that you are providing. And so
Mhm.
sometimes you work with people who are nickel and diming everything. It's kind of like the race to the bottom. They want something as cheap as they possibly can, if not free.
Yes.
And obviously you're in business and we're in business and we're providing something of premium value. And so thankfully we don't charge a premium cost, but we still are a service that is provided and we're bringing something worthwhile to the table. So people who share our values, who understand the value of what we do, and people who are going to be great to work with long term.
That's fantastic. And you guys are, I mean, US wide. I mean,
Yes,
so you
nationwide.
are
Yeah,
nationwide. This is not something that's
absolutely.
just in
Yeah,
one state or region. You guys are all the way across, which, goes back to the value piece is, creating
yeah.
healthy businesses in America and being able to do
Absolutely,
that in a way that's
absolutely. And we've got
accessible.
some on fire referral partners all across the nation that are trying to expand their reach and their support. Shout out to Eric Corcoran who brought us together, and and
Yes.
and Businesses for Liberty and what he's doing. And he's been a wonderful proponent of us in the South Carolina region. And I'm so blessed by him because if not for him, I wouldn't meet amazing individuals like yourself and so many more like you. And so, yes, we love being nationwide and we love serving our fellow countrymen everywhere that they are.
This is fantastic. No, that's wonderful. So when you guys are um, bringing somebody on or educating them, to what you all do. What are some
Hmm.
of the things that you hear that they're struggling with with their current provider? I mean, not just a fee-based thing, but and
Yeah.
not just necessarily the customer service, but
Yeah.
what is it because we're not, and I say we because I'm one of those, but we're not necessarily in that space. Like that's not our genius
Yes.
zone of work that we do. But you
Yes.
see people coming
Yes.
through and you kind of have to like walk them through and educate them through to get
Yes.
to that solution.
Yes. One of the classic things that we have to educate people on is the, I hate to say deceptive or just not fully truthful nature of how this industry works and
Mm.
how the fees work, right? And
Hmm.
so you'll get a lot of people who think, "Oh, I'm only paying X," like and it's 2.6%, 2.99, 3.3, 3.5, you name it. And then again, then there's the 15 cents per transaction, 25 cents per transaction. Saw one just recently, it's 49 cents per every transaction for a particular platform. And
Wow.
then there's, maybe there's a monthly cost on top of that, and then there's also some hidden language about, well, when you get an international card, it's an extra 1.5%. And then if there's a conversion of any kind of currency, it's an extra 50 basis points to 1%. And then if it's this, and before you know it, you add up all those numbers and you can see a broad range of the rate that you could be paying, anywhere from 2.6 and 15 cents per transaction on the lower end to, I have seen, and I kid you not, I have truly done price audits for some of these businesses and I've shown them in the numbers. I said, on this transaction, sure, you paid 2.6, but on this transaction, you paid 3.5. But then this one down here was 4.2. And then this one down
Wow.
here was 5.3. And this one over here was 6.4. And this one over here. And what's nuts is, again,
Oh my
people
goodness.
forget how those other scenarios and fees play into, because think about a smaller transaction, right? If you run some incidental scenario where you're running $1 transaction or a
Right.
$4
Yeah.
transaction, right? Well, then those cents per transaction and then that monthly fee and how they all feed into, and you extrapolate that down across the 30 days, you realize, oh wow, I am paying so much more per transaction, per day, per week, per month than I originally thought. And frankly, a lot of these platforms are kind of banking on the fact that you're not going to take the time or have anyone do a full audit for you because you're too busy running your business. And
Wow.
and I have seen that time and time again, that they think that almost every business owner I talk to thinks one of two or three things. Number one, they think they're only paying a certain amount. Number two, they think they've got a really great rate. Or number three, this one breaks my heart the most. They're working with a buddy and their buddy's taking care of them. And if I had a dollar for every single time a buddy was taking care of somebody, it's like, ugh, like if only they knew what that buddy was really actually doing, and
Oh
uh,
my
and and
goodness.
what other options that they had. So
Great.
we run into that fee challenge a lot. And then other things are feature based, like a coffee shop
Hmm.
that wants to bring in more people, and they're not having anyone hold their hand and walk them through the loyalty points conversation.
Hmm. Right.
And various platforms that are great for keeping you top of mind with your clients. Now, again, some of these other big box platforms, they don't have the time nor really the care. They're going to send you some maybe email campaigns from time to time and let you know about some stuff you can do, but it's really on you to educate yourself and figure it out. But what we try to do is add another layer of, hey, have you considered a loyalty program? Here's two or three that we've worked with that have been really great. Which one would you like to know more about? And then we'll take the time to educate you on the pros and cons of those two or three options, and then even walk you through the setup. And even, gosh, one of our team members, Matthew Logan, one of the sons of the owner, is so informed on a couple of these platforms. I mean, he is like tailor designing these platforms for these individuals, and sometimes it leads to an app design, which leads to an increase in volume. And again, we get to be part of that success. So those are some additional things we do for our clients.
That is okay. And I am one of the ones that has not been going through every fee that I'm charged. But sometimes I'll see it come through and I'm like doing the math in my head, going, does that seem right? But you know what? I'm running a business, and so I don't have time to like
100%.
back and like
Yeah.
this in and what was that? When did that happen? Oh, now I have to go talk to them, which I know will take multiple weeks to do. And
Yeah.
then Rainier, you said something that I didn't even know about is this partnering with the businesses for what you could call their marketing piece, where
Yes,
helping with these
yes,
campaigns of loyalty and whatnot. And a lot of times we don't do that because we just don't have the time. Like we don't
yeah,
have the time to think of, I need to set this campaign up, or it takes time. Oh man, now I have to learn this platform or whatever. And if somebody is there saying, hey, this is what we recommend, here's how you can use
yes,
it, that is such a transition versus I have to go YouTube how to use these platforms so I can try and run
yeah,
loyalty stuff. Too big of a hill to climb right now because I'm trying to run a business and do everything with that. So I did not know that. It's an
100%.
amazing, amazing piece of the business that is just assisting the businesses grow, these small businesses grow.
Absolutely. And thank you for bringing extra attention to that, Hannah, because again, what we love is being kind of a silent partner in all these businesses that get to work with. I mean, we truly have a financial vested interest in the success of each and every one of our merchants. So, we're making fractions of basis points off of these numbers. So of course we want to help these businesses flourish and thrive and grow and do well because we want to make money with you, not off of
Yeah.
you, but with
Yeah.
you. And so, yeah, if we get to provide any extra insight into marketing or, I've heard other team members, again, Matthew Logan, I've heard him on, like when he's working with various franchise members and he said, hey, this is what's working for other franchise team members. This is what's not. Consider this. And again, that extra approach, that extra time that you're not going to get from a call center in another country.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
fellow American, like I got you, like I'm for you. Call us anytime. Like we give our oftentimes our cell numbers to our merchants, so I get text randomly at different times. But there's a certain level of just like comfort and trust and relationship that builds, knowing that when I've got a problem, there's someone I can call.
Absolutely. No, that's amazing. I think that is so helpful. Now, I know we don't need to say any businesses' names, but is there a case study that you've seen where maybe in a certain industry that you guys like they came in one way and left another way, or not left, but moved on, like progressed with you guys so that they're one of your like really strong
Yeah.
partners?
Well, I've kind of already dropped like a couple names like early on in this call, but there's definitely a couple of companies that people think of first when they get started. And they're just everywhere. And so they'll start off with that company and they'll realize, oh, that 2.6%, that 2.99%, it's not the end of the world. And they're providing me a service. And that's all true, like that's one
Right.
of those things where it's like, hey, you know what? Kudos to those other companies that are providing the UI UX experience and allowing those new business owners to feel like, okay, I got this out of the way, I'm good to go, I can transact, awesome. But yes, as you start to take, as you kind of graduate into a little bit more care and concern of the inner workings of your company, like what you often provide business owners, Hannah, and getting to provide that third party perspective once they start to realize, oh, okay, like I'm making X, but I'm only really walking away with Y, and why is that? Why am I only walking away with Y variable amount of money? And it's we get to come in and we get to show them, okay, this is what you kind of like hit the easy button, you ran with this platform, and this is what they gave you, but this is also what they're charging you for what they're giving you. And so again, being able to be that third party perspective and say, hey, you don't have to stay with them. We have all the same features, some even more. We
Right.
because of our agnostic and objective approach, we have access to somewhere between 9 to 12 different platforms that have a range of features. So again, for people to feel locked in and trapped, people often feel that way with their merchant processor, either because of the contract or because their website's now integrated with their terminal on site at
Yep.
the wherever. We just try to give them another angle and show them, hey, it might be a painful process. I'm sure you have this conversation all the time. It might be a painful process up front to experience the change, but this is an upgrade. This is not just a change for change's sake. This is an improvement. And
Right.
then you have to extrapolate the benefits of that improvement for the weeks, months, and years to come because you're going to make all that back in spades.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's one of the things that we try to help business owners do is not get trapped in the now, but also just see, hey, we can improve it now, but you also need to realize the benefit it's going to serve you in the years to come, and how
Yeah.
we're going to grow with you too.
Absolutely. And I want to speak to that piece a little bit because when with a client of mine that we were doing some consulting with, we were changing over their PO. This was before you. I told you about them. I was like, oh, if I don't. But we were changing it over. And I think there's a lot of fear or concern of changing from, oh no,
Yes.
what's going to happen between here and here and looking at what you guys have done and then walking through. And my client was a small business owner. I mean, she was running a very successful practice, but they weren't sure how to transition. And I will say it is not as painful as what some business owners think. And she,
Exactly.
after we walked through it, she was like, well, it really wasn't that bad. And I was like, yeah, the big, I said, yeah. And now, I mean, there was lots of reasons why she had changed, but when you have somebody who's there holding your hand that
Yes.
you guys do,
Yes.
it's totally a different perspective. And
Yes.
sometimes more the fear of changing a system is greater than actually just changing and realizing that we're
100%.
aligning in a certain way. And as I mentioned earlier, you guys are not locked into just one way of doing things, which is amazing. So being a consultant and somebody who's building these processes and
Yes.
automations for small businesses, moving is actually to something that allows a lot more options is way better for the business overall because now when you ask somebody to come in and help whether it's change your website or redesign your Shopify or whatever when there's more options than just one it makes
Yeah.
the person who's coming in to support and grow your business so
Yeah.
much easier because they're not
Absolutely.
locked into one we only can do this thing so I just wanted to say that sometimes it is from a change management piece moving is
Yes.
not always a bad thing. It's
Yes.
honestly been a great thing. And you know, when they come and get to have that kind of audit with you guys, like a pre-audit, there's not necessarily a band-aid ripping off piece. There's a can be a smooth transition from we go to here, back end things are done, usually on the weekend if you're not a service business that's running on the weekend, but over the weekend and then on the next morning, this is just how we did it.
Yeah.
Monday morning, things looked different for the team. The clients had no idea. And now, everything's continuing as normal. So as long as that piece is happening and there's transparency and you're talking with your provider, you guys about, hey, this is how we're changing. When do we change? You guys are educating on when a good time is,
Hmm.
rather than don't do this on a Saturday if you're a coffee shop. Like,
100%. And you said something that reminded me of a couple things. Number one, there's that phrase, and I might butcher it, and I can't remember who said it, but someone really smart out there said this one phrase one time, and it was, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you got.
yes.
Right? If you keep
Yes.
doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you got. And so, okay, if you're happy with what you got right now and you don't want to make a change, then God bless you, high five. Let me know if that ever changes. But if you've realized on some level that what you're currently getting is not ideal and you would like to make an upgrade or a change, then let's talk about what those changes are and let's talk about what it's going to reap you, like how sowing those seeds are going to reap you a harvest at some time. It's just, and you have to keep that harvest mindset in view, recognize that it may not happen right away, but it's going to happen soon and it's going to pay dividends for sure. And then you did ask me a question for a specific case study, and one did come to my mind as you kept talking, and I'm glad you reminded me of this. So there's a multi-location coffee shop in our area that we're working with, and love them, love the family, love what they stand for, share our values, all that great stuff. But they were another one of those examples where when I approached one of the owners, he was so sure he was getting a great deal, again, to your point, through his bank, right? Oh, I'm already banking with them and this and that. And it's all in one place and it's so succinct and streamlined and nice. And I don't want to change. I'm like, okay, I hear you. When was the last time though that you had a second opinion? You don't normally go to one doctor and just take that one doctor's word as gospel truth. You get
Mhm.
second opinions sometimes, and so when's the last time you've gotten an audit? You've gotten a second opinion. And he's like, "Oh, it's been a while, but honestly, I'm not interested right now." Well, here's the two things that led to some great blessings. They had a printer go out on their counter. So one of their receipt printers stopped working, so they weren't able to give their customers a receipt. I saw that one day because I frequent this spot. And I remember going over to Matthew back when I was just a referral partner before I was officially with the company. And I said, here's an idea. How about we gift them, loan them for free a printer, solve this problem here for them. Just leave a little sticky note saying, hey, if we can help you with anything else, we're always here. We're local. We'd be happy to be given a chance, That simple act of generosity led to an opening of the door for the conversation. We ended up getting to work with them, and come to find out, we've saved them the equivalent in monthly fees. Okay. we've saved them the equivalent in monthly fees that is almost the same as the revenue sales of their smallest location. So what that means is what we're saving them in fees is almost the equivalent of giving them an additional coffee spot
Location.
location
Yeah. Oh my
without any
goodness.
increase to overhead or liability or employees or anything. It's just, and that has been through them working with us. And that's like, we didn't even count on it being that much of a blessing to them. So it's been great to see that relationship flourish and that play out that way.
That is amazing. Oh, wow. This has been so informative. And I think just to kind of summarize is that Affinity24 is a values first company. Like you want to work with businesses who have similar values. So
Yeah.
we want to send people to that website. But before we get there, so your values first, you guys also take a personal interest in all of your clients. So there is a team that's willing to support and work through it. And honestly, providing that audit, no, I do not know anybody else who is doing that, who is saying, let's look at what you're doing right now. Let's just see if this works. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's such a
Yeah.
like hard sell of you gotta
Yes.
switch with me. And then as a business owner, the fear of that, you guys don't do that. You say, let's just see
Yeah.
what you're really doing. Like, let's do
Yeah.
that. So I
Absolutely.
totally would invite people to just call and say, what can you do? This is what we do,
100%.
what we have. And then also I think it's the partner thing, like lead with generosity, like seeing these different areas of, hey, you may need a printer. And you know what? Finding those little what are they, carbon paper? They're not just
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
You have to
You
make
can't,
sure you get the
you
right
don't just like go to your local store and get like thermal printing paper or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So even that small example, I mean, led to some huge wins for this local coffee shop. So, and I am not a coffee shop. So, but you guys service the breadth of services that are out there. So,
Yeah.
Rainier, this has been great. Tell everybody, how can they get in touch with, maybe not you and your personal cell phone number, but how can they get in touch with you guys and just learn more about what you do?
Absolutely. Well, it's really hard. Okay, I'm gonna try and move my head strategically, but you
Right.
see, you
I
see
know.
this, see this background that I have? There we go. Look at this. Look at that. So that's the name of our company right there. So if you just type in that name, affinity24.com, and you will find our website, and you'll see our team. You'll see our mission statement. You'll see a contact us form, and that does actually go to me. So if you fill out that form, you're gonna get to cut through any red tape and just get me right away, and I'll call you back. I'll email you back. We'll have a great chat. But yeah, you can use that. The numbers on the website as well go to our general office, as I understand it. So you'll get me or again one of our six, seven other team members. And yeah, we're just excited to get to know you, excited to help, to see, what your situation is and provide you a custom tailored solution to your business needs and make sure that it fits what you need to serve your customers today, but also grow into your customers tomorrow.
Fantastic. And I will be linking your website on there because even though it is very hard to see where they should go, we will just make sure we have links down there so that they can
I
find
know I should have made it bigger. I was really
you.
thinking if I could just make this logo even bigger,
Oh,
maybe I could get it on my head. I have a lot of space here on my head.
go. There you go. So this has been great. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And we look forward to you tuning in. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me, Hannah. Have a wonderful day.
Wonderful. You too. Take care. Bye bye.